This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses.
So on Mondays there's a Lessons and Licks playlist where I try to give something to work on, maybe for the week, something that is keeping my hands occupied, something that I want to get into my playing, or something that someone else might have pointed out to me. This one came from the Sir classic little demo. There was a little lick in it that David Beebe said he did something there, and I wanted to break it down so that I figured out what I was doing. So hopefully this will be interesting to one or two of you. Patreon will be the place to get the tab and the backing track. This sort of thing is inspired by players like Mateus Asato and Eric Johnson. Eric Johnson, by the way, has a TrueFire masterclass and In the Jam coming out soon, 1st of October, for people like me who've not pre-ordered it. You can get it with either 40% off with the code JNC40, or as part of the All Access Pass. If you use the code JNC100, you can get $100 off of All Access for the year. Right, okay, so the lick goes like this. This is it in its original form. And we're in C minor for this. I was sort of thinking about the tune Treasure. By Bruno Mars, hence the Mateus Asato kind of connection. And also Sir, obviously. And this is the first kind of bar and the first pattern. And what I'm doing for that is kind of pulling off, and then so down picking for the first one, pull off, and then upstroke, and then upstroke for the next. That's just the C minor pentatonic scale, right? And then I would go down, up, and that's the, I think, is probably my picking mechanics for that. So kind of dragging, sort of economy style. And one of the things that I talk about practicing when it comes to the pentatonic scale, in terms of getting out of your box shapes, this sort of thing where we start to join up adjacent boxes. So once we've done our first kind of 2 descents, then what if you jumped up to your next box instead of going? You could come up to here. So that could be like a little exercise that you took from this in general. Kind of sounds pretty tidy. as I say, that's kind of my picking mechanics, and you could of course do that in other places. Anywhere that you have your pentatonic boxes kind of memorized. That one's surprisingly difficult and weird. Anyway, right, distraction, that's kind of a tangent. So we're starting on beat 3, so we get the first of all, and then our second bar, so that's a really straightforward bar. Just down the pentatonic scale in groups of 6, and then jump down a string. Could be useful in its own right. The second bar is a little bit weirder. So we're then going to go down in patterns of 4, patterns of 3, sorry. 12, 10, 13, 10, 13, 10. Then we're going to start to rise back up, 13, 10, 13. So then, 13, 10, 13. And we do this thing that I do a lot of, but what is happening here, and I'm not going to pretend this was intentional or anything, but I start to speed up in the middle of the line here, which kind of forces these. So 12, 10, 12, 13. We're now into kind of E flat major territory or C minor territory. So those notes kind of happen like demi-semiquavers, so 30-second notes. And what that then means is that we're then back to our triplet feel for the rest of the line here. We start here, 15, 10, 12, 15, 11, so doubling that note there. 11, 15, 11, 13, 15, 11, 13, 15, slide up to the 18th fret. So that last bar goes. So you get that little bit of a. And then as you hit the 15th note there, you can kind of plan that one to be on beat 3. So. So all together. Get kind of that thing happening. So I wouldn't necessarily be worrying too much about the timing on that one. I'd just be trying to feel this as the way that the phrase ends. So you could just practice that in isolation. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Da. And kind of feel the lick out in that way. So again, one more time, that's kind of the lick. I hope that was vaguely interesting to you. If you want to get that lick into other keys, just start moving it into other keys and playing it in other contexts. There's it in B minor, what about in A minor? If we wanted to do it in E major. Yeah, just try that. I'll put it up in a few different keys just around this kind of area, but hopefully that was vaguely interesting to you. As I said, this is kind of improvised, so I can't pretend that that middle bit wasn't a little bit of a catastrophe. But the more you practice these kind of things, you find that these little patterns do, or for me at least, creep out in my improvisation. Certainly, I practice that sort of thing all the time. Give it a try. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you've got other suggestions for licks you want me to break down. I am generally looking most for suggestions here in Patreon messages. I don't see all of the comments on YouTube, but Patreon is the place to get the tabs for that. I'll put it into a few different keys where kind of fingering and big gaps allow. Hopefully that is useful for you. Catch you in another video soon. Cheers.